Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Paul Pierce, Heat are the only team that scares the Celtics. The recent rivalry between Miami Heat and Boston Celtics has been strong in the Eastern Conference since the days when Paul Pierce was still playing. But things have intensified even more in recent years. After all, the franchises faced each other in 3 of the last 4 conference finals. At the moment, the Celtics lead the conference and the NBA with 45 wins in 57 games and a large advantage over the Cleveland Cavaliers and Milwaukee Bucks, their closest pursuers. Miami, on the other hand, is in 7th place, tied with the Orlando Magic and immediately below the Indiana Pacers and Philadelphia 76ers. A scenario that is somewhat similar to last year, when the Florida team went to the NBA Finals as the lowest seed in the playoffs. The recent record of breaking predictions, and above all, growing in important moments, still places Miami as a feared team. And that's what the Boston Idol said on the Truth Lounge podcast last Saturday, 24. There is nowhere to run. Boston is in a great position in 2023/24. They're the favorite, they have the best team, I don't think that's a discussion. The Philadelphia 76ers always lose to the Celtics, I don't want to hear that talk. The Milwaukee Bucks have also been beaten in other years. But it's Miami that I'm a little afraid of, said Pierce. As I said before, the Celtics have a very privileged position and good reinforcements. It's the strongest version we've ever seen of this team. However, the Heat are a thorn in the side. We're talking about the playoffs, and you've reached the finals with your current base more times than us. So, we know the Heat aren't doing well, but this isn't the time of year they actually play. I'm really afraid of a new confrontation, he highlighted. In recent conference finals, Miami, in fact, had an advantage. The team won in 6 games in the series played in the Disney bubble in 2020. Boston then took revenge by winning 7 games in 2022. However, the Florida team advanced again last year in a series where they opened 3-0, but it only ended in a painful 7 game for Celtics fans, who played at home. However, the 2023-24 regular season has been marked by the Celtics' dominance over the Heat, much to the relief of Paul Pierce. In the 3 duels played, Boston won 3. This included, in fact, 2 duels played in Florida. They no longer have duels scheduled for the current regular phase and will only face each other again in the event of a postseason series. As a player, Pierce also experienced a great moment of rivalry with the Miami franchise. Alongside Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen, the star was the Celtics' leader in duels against Dwayne Wade's Heat, which they won in the first round of 2010 in 5 games. However, in the following season, the franchise's reinforcements were simply LeBron James and Chris Bosh. This meant that the Heat managed to overcome the Celtics for 2 consecutive years in the playoffs, winning the 2011 second round in 5 games and the great duel between them in the 2012 conference finals, which was decided in 7 games. Finally, the story became even more tense, as Ray Allen would leave Boston to join Miami in 2012-13. As a result, the incident caused a rift between Garnett and Allen. Jimmy Butler and 4 other players are suspended. Jimmy Butler and the other 4 players involved in the fight during the game between Miami Heat and New Orleans Pelicans were suspended by the NBA. The announcement was made by the league and confirmed by insider Shams Charania from the Athletic portal this Sunday, 25. In addition to Butler, the others punished are Najee Marshall and Jose Alvarado for New Orleans, and Thomas Bryant and Nikola Jovic for Miami. Butler's punishment is 1 game, as is rival Marshall's. Both were 2 of the protagonists of the confrontation, including the New Orleans winger's hand on the Miami Star's neck. In addition, Alvarado and Bryant also suffered punishments, as they almost came to blows leaving the bench. they continued the friction started by Butler and Marshall, according to the league. The punishment for both, in fact, is the harshest, lasting 3 games. Finally, Serbian Jovic also became involved in the conflict. He, who was on the bench, left the designated area not to break up the fight, but to increase the conflict. In the end, he also took an NBA hook game. The interesting thing is that the move that caused the friction in the duel played on Friday, 23, did not originally involve either of them. Zion Williamson stole a ball from Jimmy Butler and went on the attack, suffering a hard foul from Kevin Love. The young star did not fight with the veteran pivot, who apologized at the same time. However, the friction spread to other players who, in the end, were suspended, including Jimmy Butler. According to ESPN reporter Andrew Lopez, athletes will also lose the amount of salary corresponding to the number of games they will miss. Even without having the biggest hook, Butler is the one who loses the most money, around $260,000. Bryant and Alvarado, who were punished the most, lost $52,300 and $37,900, respectively. Ultimately, Jovic will lose $12,600 and Marshall, $11,000. Thus, Jimmy Butler and Nikola Jovic are out of the duel between Miami Heat and Sacramento Kings this Monday, 26. Thomas Bryant will miss not only the duel in California, but also the rest of Miami's current trip to the west coast of the USA, duels against the Portland Trail Blazers on Tuesday, 27, and the rematch of the NBA Finals against the Denver Nuggets on Wednesday, 28. Naji Marshall's suspension, on the other hand, has already been served. After all, he did not play in the game against the Chicago Bulls this Sunday. Point guard Jose Alvarado missed the game against Chicago and is still out of the duel with the New York Knicks next Tuesday and against the Indiana Pacers on Wednesday. On Miami's side, coach Eric Spoelstra commented on the NBA's punishment of its best player and other athletes. He didn't agree, but he understood the league. "I don't think Jimmy should get a 1-game suspension. I don't feel like it was a mess that went beyond pushing and shoving. He already missed the last quarter of that game, so I feel like he had already been penalized. But it is what it is. Nobody wants to see this kind of situation, and that's understandable," he pondered. NBA Rumors and Trades Bulletin. Welcome to the February 29, second edition of the NBA Rumors and Trades newsletter. It is your periodic source on Jumper Brazil about movements in the league market. Center Mike Muscala is another player available to reinforce competitive teams before the playoffs. According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, the veteran is finalizing the termination of his contract with the Detroit Pistons. He becomes a free agent, in time to be eligible to compete in the postseason for another franchise. For now, there is no information about possible interested parties for the athlete. The 32-year-old player arrived at the Pistons after a trade before the trade deadline, but was never in the team's plans. Michigan officials, therefore, do not place obstacles in the way of the reserve's departure. He was not used by coach Monty Williams in the last 4 games, as he had already expressed his desire to leave. Muscala played in 37 games this season, averaging 3.8 points and 2.8 rebounds. Aleksej Pokusevski didn't spend long without a team in the NBA. The sweetheart of Oklahoma City Thunder fans took the airlift and will arrive at the Charlotte Hornets in the next few days. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation Nikola Jovic? Leave your opinion in the comments.